somebody read their story because we all sometimes share similar experiences. So we like to settle our nervous system so that we're more likely to stay settled and not get triggered into our fight, flight, or freeze responses. So if everyone will just come to the present, feel yourself in your chair, feel your feet on the ground, feel the temperature on your skin, and just start to become aware. I like to use the term observe without judgment, observe with compassion what you're feeling in your body, what you may be thinking, and just start to relax your breath, start to relax your body. And one thing we would like to do is self hold. And especially since a lot of us are, isolated a lot because of the shutdown, we aren't, or even when we're with people, which I just am not hugging like I used to, and I really miss that. That really affects me. So the least we could do is hug ourselves. So self hold, is hold yourself. So one way that I've seen is that you could take your right hand and put it under your, hold your rib cage under your armpit. Take your left hand, hold your upper arm. But this isn't the only way. It's just one way. And looking at all your faces, I just feel like we're in a group hug right now. So we have to kind of like play little games with our minds to feel connected. Do everything that you can to feel connected to your community. It's so important, especially during difficult times. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. Let's see what's next. Okay. So now I want to say a little bit about Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. They're the organization that sponsored this workshop and allowed it to be free to the community. So I am an ensemble and board member. Sarah Guerrero is an ensemble and board member and the artistic director and the founding director. And then Adriana Alva, who will be joining us in about 20 minutes, she also is an ensemble and board member. And then we have like Suzanne Pinello, she's acted in some of our pieces. And Elvia used to be an ensemble and board member, but still is a collaborator with us. And let me see. Oh, and Miriam, who's here today, she also is an ensemble member. So we have very close connection, a heart connection with Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. We are an incubating space. Let me see. We're an incubating space for new work that lifts up the Latina, and Latinx experience. And we are able to provide all our programming like this and readings of plays. Right now, I think today is the last day to see Atacama. Sarah, would you mind putting the link in the chat for that?
Sure. I think actually it's till tomorrow, but I will.
Oh, good. Oh, good. An extra day. I would encourage you to see it if you have time. Atacama. Sarah is directing it or has directed it, and it's really fabulous. It's very powerfully moving. So all our programming is free from grants and from donations. So I encourage you,
ladies and gentlemen,
share on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel, Breath of Fire Theater, where you can see a lot of our productions are streamed there that you can watch for free. And our website is breathoffiretheater.org. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. So find us wherever you like to hang out. thank you, Sarah, for posting that link until tomorrow. Great. Like tomorrow at midnight, probably? Great. Perfect. Okay. And I would like to invite Suzanne Pinedo. She would like to share a little bit about her journey with the workshop through Breath of Fire.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much, Angela and Elvia. The workshop was amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah and Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. You are just so amazing. The workshop was very helpful to me. I was stuck in a very linear way of thinking and linear way of writing that was just not good for me. I had not written anything since December 31st, when I attended the first workshop. I believe the first workshop was Saturday, February 6th. I could be wrong about the exact date, but I know it was the first Saturday in February. And I hadn't written anything. And that was very scary to me because I'm in the process of writing a play, and that was just really, really scary. And Angela and Elvia have such a unique, such a organic, such a kind approach to how they teach writing and how they encourage writing, that the first prompt that they gave, a monologue just came pouring out of me for my first play. Not for my first play, for the play that I'm working on. And that was just that just really helped open me up. So I'm just so grateful, and I want to encourage anyone and everyone to take their workshop. Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble has invited them to come back in July. I'm super excited because I know I'm going to take it again. So those of us that already participated, we can definitely participate again. And if you are here and you did not have the opportunity to participate now in February, I highly recommend it. It's awesome. And although it's 4 weeks, if you can't attend all 4 of the Saturdays or all 4 of the days whenever it's scheduled, it doesn't matter. I could not attend the 3rd Saturday, and it didn't matter. I attended the other 3, and it was awesome. So thank you all so much. Thank you, because this was so helpful to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I love that. Yeah, Elvie and I are just so grateful. That Rio de Mi Vida exists now. It kind of seems like a miracle to me. You know, Elvia was asked to teach a creative writing course through Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council, and she asked me if I wanted to go on this journey with her. She had already come up with the idea of Rio de Mi Vida and had some ideas for the curriculum, and you know, and then since I'm studying right now trauma sensitivity, I decided, wow, you know, I love the arts, and the arts are used as a healing modality.
Sorry, you got muted there.
Thank you.
I was trying to admit someone and I muted you, sorry.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to get somebody
I was blaming it on my cat because she wanted to buy it.
That was me, sorry.
Press the mute button. Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, but just I've been really enjoying this collaboration with my hermana Elvia, and then also the participation and the feedback from the attendees has helped us fine tune it. And anyway, it's just, I just love being here with you all. Do you want to say anything else about the
You're both muted.
Someone's gonna get their co-host privileges taken away.
That wasn't me this time. I was nowhere near it. I saw it and I was like, let them handle it.
It's okay. I think it was probably me.
I feel so far away from you all. I'm all like, so I opened up my laptop so it's easier for me to chat. But yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and I'm so appreciative of Angela. And I feel like we're already saying our goodbyes before we even get started. So I definitely want to give the floor to our wonderful writers. We wrote along with them. We never share a writing prompt that we're not willing to be vulnerable and write in ourselves. So we'll be sharing a piece later on in the programming. Again, thank you everyone that's joining us. Thank you, Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. I'm so appreciative of this space, especially now that I'm back in Santana. That not that we can work, be together in real life, but we're close by. I can deliver flowers to Sarah whenever I want, or but I'm grateful that you all are here. Are you guys ready to get started and hear some new work? Whoop, 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 whoop. Hello, Miss Adriana, I see you. All right. So up first, drum roll. I'm gonna share the first couple of people who are gonna be on deck. But we have, all right, go ahead. Okay. I don't want to butcher your name. Do you want to say her name?
Oh, Ana.
Oh.
Ana Karime. Do you like Ana or Ana Karime?
Karime.
Okay.
Ana Karime. Then on deck is Sarah Guerrero, and then Ange Toley.
All right. Take it away, Ana Karime.
Hello. Okay, so mine is very short. I really love to be a part of this. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everybody. So it was very nice, everything. So mine is called Out and About from the Prompt, The Past is Not Your Present by Ana Karime Bixel. Something happened the other day that made me rewrite my work. I choose to be the protagonist instead of being the victim. Times comes and times go. The river of my life. When I was a kid, I want to do all things. When I was a kid, I want to play. When I was a kid, I want to have fun and be happy. That is what I wrote. That's what I was feel that I was doing. Karime, who are you? Tell me by each letter that your name have. K, A, R, I, M, E. Kind, ambitious, rocket ball, intelligent, mystic, exotic. Are you all of that? Well, that's what I think. I want you to know all of that. That was my 10 years old version of me that will tell me, just keep going, going and going and do it well. Who are you? How are you being called? What was the names? You being called tall, giraffe, Demi Dueñas. That's nice because like a Demi Moore, right? Because I was tall, dark hair, cariño, carita, etc. Right? But is that what you are, or is only what people see outside of you? Is just what you are, or what you think it's a? Just think about it. Do you like it? Yes, I do. Why not? Well, just keep going, right? Yes, just keep going. Now, after all this time, are you still thinking the same? The answer is yes. Just keep going. I know you can do all and you can do it well. Well, just keep going. Be whoever you want to be wherever you want to do. Just keep going. Remember, the past is not your present. Thank you.
Yay! Loved it. Thank you so much. Someone said, I think it was Angela, just so joyful. The past is not your present. Very beautiful. Thank you, Ana.
Thank you. So beautiful.
All right. Up next is La Mera Mera Sarah Guerrero. What?
Thank you. Thank you. That was lovely, Anna. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to read a piece. I shared it before and I worked on it a little bit. Okay. Deja vu, a broken warrior in coward skin. I've come to the conclusion that my being has lived many lives, or in the least pieces of me, fractured bits, remnants that together make up the sum of me, like the grains of sand, the many stars in the sky, or the pile of shit that continues to build. Together, I carry those remains of the past, what was once living, from four-legged, two-legged, soaring in the sky, floating, swimming in the waters, bloodstreams crawling on bellies, planted, rising out of the dirt. Secretly, I'm taken aback by the things my body reacts to. Often, I quickly move to the next thing, giving no haste for reflection. But sometimes, I'm stumped. And in that stillness, the feelings that are entirely new to my present existence are somehow all too familiar to the oldness inside. Like the song Gonzo, the Muppets Gonzo. Look it up. He sings, vaguely familiar, almost unreal yet. It's too soon to feel yet. Close to my soul, and yet so far away. I'm going to go back there someday. Going to go back there someday. It's a romantic notion. Yet the familiarity of it, the experience secured, has no love. Example, activism. Standing up, speaking out, fighting for rights, your cause, beliefs, instinctually, it embraces me like an old skin, and yet it sets off a warning in my present upholstery like a tightening, a choking. The same kind of warning my stomach alarms me to acquire the closest usable restroom as it turns and churns, manufacturing chorro. I've been here before. Shit. Knowing the dreaded outcome of a past fight, battle, war, survival lost over again. Maybe shot, beheaded, raped, mutilated, tortured, eaten alive, jailed, sentenced to another end. And I'm not sure, but that familiar sensation creeps up like deja vu, boo. Like Prometheus sensing that damn eagle's presence. Seeing the whites of its eyes. Mierda. Exhausting. And what even follows is why we keep all this a secret. Oh, the shame. That not so proud feeling. My gut kicks me like a rabbit into high gear. Run! Hide! Take flight! To breathe another day. Thank you.
Woo! Indeed. I'm going to steal everybody's comments. It did indeed a makings of a great solo show. I stole that from Suzanne. I loved it. It was so lovely. Thank you so much, Sarah. I loved all the voices. Like I could just listen to you all day with your stories.
And it was so visceral. I felt so connected to you. I was like, everything you said, I felt it, like the gut and the choke, the tightening, like, oh, you took me on this intense, amazing journey. Love it. Thank
definitely. You. All right. You want to announce the next one?
Sure. The next one is Ange Toll. Is it Toll or Tolly?
It's Toll.
Ange Toll. Thank you for joining us.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. So this is Keeping Afloat, and it's based on the prompt of I Remember. Someone once said that life is like a river, and to keep afloat, you better have a life vest on. Even though I didn't realize it at the time, I remember my first time needing a life vest was towards the end of my kindergarten year in Catholic school. I had been doing my best Lily Tomlin in an SNL sketch that I had seen over the weekend. and all the principal knew was there was talk of taking off panties. I sat in her office feeling the most scared I had ever felt. More scared than when my dad would yell at my mom. More scared than the night we were woken up by my drunken dad screaming and cursing because he fell out the back door of our trailer house thinking it was the bathroom. I wasn't scared of the principal herself. Okay, yes, I was. I really, really was. But I was even more scared of what my mom would do when she found out that I was sent in to see the head hermana. She was going to be so mad at me. She worked so hard for my brother, sister, and I to be able to go to Catholic school. I mean, she literally worked hard in the school's cafeteria. Every day of school, before getting out of the car, she would raise one eyebrow, point one finger, and say, "Compórtase," behave. That one word told us to watch our mouth, keep our heads down, listen and learn, respect, do as we were told. That one word told us to not do anything that would make Mexicanos look bad. I could feel my eyes starting to burn as I realized how disappointed my mom would be in me. But before the tears fully formed, Sister Evelyn burst into her office and seemed to materialize in her chair in front of me. Her ice blue eyes, which before had seemed so dazzling and serene, now chillingly bore into me. "Miss Garcia," she demanded, "explain to me why you were talking about taking off your panties?" Her voice lowered to an angry whisper. "And what is so funny about that?" I forced a small smile. "It's just something I heard on TV," I said. Her eyes bore further and her head tilted a bit as she said slowly, "Explain what you heard on TV?" It all came rushing out of me. "Well, there's this girl named Edith Ann, but she's not a girl. She's really a grown-up lady pretending to be a girl. And she sits in a big chair, and her friends were talking about this boy who said he would take off his panties if she would take off her panties. So she did take off her panties and he took off his panties. But," I paused here to take a quick breath and say in my Edith Ann voice, "But Mama said that's nasty." Instead of being impressed at my impersonation, the head nun just glared at me and said, "And just what do you think your mother will think when she hears of you watching this trash?" What sweet relief I felt. "It's okay. My mom lets me watch it. It's funny," I chuckled. The head nun chuckled right back, but I didn't think she really thought it was funny or that she believed me. I explained that my favorite part of the weekend was when I could watch Saturday Night Live with my mom. She would get home from her Saturday job of cleaning the post office, make a pot of coffee, and I'd curl next to her while we watched. I confess that most of it didn't make a lot of sense, but it was so fun to see the same people with wigs and makeup talking in different voices. I told Sister Evelyn that's what I wanted to do, to be able to be whoever I wanted and just to make people laugh. And if I wasn't funny enough, then I could just change my clothes and my hair and my voice and be someone else. I told her when the other kids talked about going to zoos and going on vacation, I could tell them about the coneheads and land shark. And when they talked about seeing Disney princesses with their moms and eating giant fancy sundaes with their dads, I could tell them about seeing King Tut sing, a samurai in a deli, and all kinds of things they never got to see, no matter how much money they had. I hadn't realized the tears were forming, but I felt them burning down my cheeks. My mom's voice swirled in my head. "Shh, no crying." I quickly straightened up and sniffed the last of the tears back. "Honest, sister, I didn't mean anything bad. I just wanted them to like me." I put on my cheesiest smile and brought up my fist in a good chap gesture and added, "And that's the truth." My smile faded as Sister Evelyn closed her melting ice eyes, brought the tips of her fingers together and brought them up to her nose. She leaned back and was silent for so long I started to wonder if she fell asleep. But I kept as still and quiet as I could until she finally released a long, loud breath and said, "Thank you, Miss Garcia. Back to class." After school, I waited on the sidewalk by the car, staring at the cafeteria exit doors. My mom and her comadres finally came through, laughing and talking in a mix of English and Spanish. After several goodbyes, my mom came walking towards me, her arms out. "Mijita, get off that dirty floor y dame besito." She squeezed and kissed me until I giggled. "How was your day? Are you warm? Your cheeks are so pink." I just giggled again and got in the car. She didn't say anything about it, so neither did I. but I must admit it was several years before I dared to recreate an SNL skit for my classmates. Years later, on a visit back home, I got the chance to spend a Saturday night with my mom, and a best of episode was on. My mom laughed harder at my impressions of the impressions. I decided to confess and told her about the time I got in trouble, and the mighty Sister Evelyn never even told her. Oh, yes, she did, my mom said. You know, as we grow, we realize that life is like a river, and if you're going to stay afloat, you got to have a life vest on. That life vest can be made of the talents that God gave you. They are blessings, blessings that keep you afloat during the times that life is trying to pull you under, during times that you feel like others are holding you down. Be thankful, mija, that sister understood, and she helped me understand why you can be such a chiflada. We both laughed. Thank you.
Oh my God, Ange, that was beautiful. You're such a great storyteller, and you got me like, my eyeballs and my chest are just solving over here. Beautiful work.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, everything that you mentioned, I'm like, oh yes, I remember. Oh yes, I remember. So it was such a great trip down memory lane, and I was laughing. And I went to Catholic school for a little while, so I remember the nuns. And then, but that surprise when your mom said that she knew, that one, like, oh, I got choked up. I felt the tears start to well. Masterful work. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us. You're calling in from Texas, right? Or
Yes.
Away from Texas. So I'm glad you're safe, and I'm glad you're here. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ange. All right.
All right. Andrew's not here yet, so.
Okay. All right. So next we have Peter Pascal.
Woo, Peter!
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. This is from the one of the prompts from the first day of Hi, I am. Hi, I'm a creative, an actor actually. Please hold your applause. I'm this way because of my parents. Both my parents come from humble beginnings in Chiclayo, Peru. My dad never finished elementary school, and my mom spent her youth volunteering at a local church. He wound up a merchant marine, and she would go to work at the duty-free shop at JFK. Regardless, my parents were my first acting coaches. They inspired and nurtured my creativity. Like all children, I wanted toys and things. I would ask them for McDonald's every day when I was little, and instead of saying no, they said I could have anything from the McDonald's menu in my imagination. Te lo puedes comer todo. Ya, estás lleno. They would also use their imagination with me and give me great firsthand examples of the power of creativity. For example, one time I asked them again to go to McDonald's, and they told me the McDonald's on Tremont was closed down because Ronald McDonald burned himself in a grease fire. Who knows when they'll reopen, mijito? That's how I learned that if you believe it in your mind, then the audience will believe it too. The way they would both also yell for me so that I would have to run from one side of the apartment to the other to deliver a message to them was a lesson in how to use my voice and body. Thankfully for me, we lived in a very small apartment. Peter! Le dices a tu padre que mañana hay que pagar la renta y que también toca pagar el Conedison y el carro necesita gasolina. Y le dices que se olvidó mi cumpleaños. Otra vez. ¡Peter! Dile a tu madre que me tiene un pie en el cementerio. I got so good at this at such a young age that I suspect that they actually stopped paying the telephone bill on purpose and just had me run around our neighborhood delivering messages to neighbors and family members. Little did I know that this was my vocal and movement training. They also helped me with sense memory exercises. by making me cry a lot. Whether it was scolding me for only getting a 94 instead of 100 on a test, getting my play clothes dirty, or one of them just complaining to me so much about the other that I privately cried out of fear that they were going to get a divorce. Then we'd have to leave our apartment, our neighborhood, my school. I wondered if it meant that I would be homeless or that I would go live with my grandparents in Peru. I would cry some more. I wanted to stay in the Bronx, stay in the United States. They had unexpected blackouts in Peru. December is in the middle of summer for them. And they didn't even have McDonald's. I cried every night after my prayers when I thought about it. My dad would sometimes hear me and say, "Oye, deja de llorar, o te voy a dar ganas para que llores." Sense memory. And the way that they interacted with one another at dinner was a huge lesson to me in how to commit and how to be in a scene. Many actors may let go of their feelings throughout the scene, or oftentimes actors will look for conflict. My parents taught me better. They never let go of their objectives. They avoided fighting, they avoided yelling, they avoided talking, they even avoided eye contact as much as possible. This is how you build tension. This makes the scene interesting. Even if your only audience is a chubby elementary school boy who watches a lot of TV, this was live theater, and I didn't have to pay for it. That's probably why my parents never got a cable box. They wanted me to be cultured in the true theater of the people, marriage. With all that training, how could I be anything but the actor that I am? Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. And look out, Benjamin, Brad. I'm coming for your jobs. Thank you.
Ooh.
Fucking brilliant. I'm sorry for cussing, but that was amazing,
You're
Peter.
welcome.
Thank you so much. That was fun. That was a joyful ride, and I just love the intimacy and just the little bits of your parents and talking about Spanish and Peru, everything. I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, your whole idea of the marriage, the family, your experience as your training it's just so brilliant. I loved the way you wove that. You took me, I was laughing so much. Yes, I was like, this needs to be like a stand-up routine or a one-person show.
This needs to be on stage.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be on stage. I was laughing so much, mixed in with just some like pangs of, I don't know, heartache, I guess, some of those real things that we all experience in our families, in our parents' imperfect marriages and imperfect parenting, so they all do the best with what we have, right? So thank you so much for sharing. I'm so happy that you shared today.
Yeah, me too.
Thank
I
you.
felt like I was laughing and then the tears were coming too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm laughing and crying at the same time.
Yes.
Awesome. Bravo.
Thank you, Peter.
All right. Up next, another wonderful writer, Mr. Christian Lopez.
Woo woo. Woo woo. Hi,
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay, good. So this first piece is from the They Don't Call Me Blank Anymore. They don't call me Mexican anymore, but they used to. My last name doesn't determine my ethnicity. The blood in me does. The parents that birthed me do. I am Pinoy, Filipino, born in Quezon City. I speak 3 languages, English, Tagalog, and Ilocano. My experiences living in the 7,000 islands are forever etched in my memory, and my stomach forever filled with Filipino food. They don't call me Mexican anymore because more people know that Spanish is global. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo woo.
I love
And
that about your stomach being
yeah.
full of Filipino food.
Did you have one more to share with us, Christian?
Yeah, I
Okay.
had another one. And this one, I forgot. I think I missed the third week. So I think this is from the third week. And this piece is called My Story. Unanswered questions clouded my undeveloped mind. Will I live normally or have a disabled lifestyle? Am I strong enough to swim while money rains, or will I drown in debt from money's rain? Surgeons braced my head up high with a halo that held my neck upright, but fusing my spine caused my head to descend back to a mortal lifestyle. Whether it's a healthy immune system or a weak one, my head will always have a shoulder to lean on. There was a time where I wasn't breathing right, like all the O2 in my body just left me. Had to be resuscitated, so they slit my neck, inserting a tube in my windpipe. Now I'm ventilated, my lungs are liberated, and I found my voice and use words as a weapon. Words that will hug and prevent you from jumping to conclusion. Words that will help you walk across this unstable bridge we live in. Words that will give you the strength to empower the helpless. And words that will give you a voice to speak for the speechless. The lease of my legs ended at 5 years old. I felt stuck until I found the drive for my chair to move. I move meant to have hope. Change the Earth's view in this kaleidoscope. I move meant to break social roles. Discover diverse ways of being normal. And I move meant to show that although my legs exhausted all its energy, mine's still running. The words I write does not have a disability. It doesn't define what you can or can't do. It's not a dictionary. The words I write are not citizens. They're wanderers. Imprinting freedom's ink on documents by people with and without documents. And the words I write does not have an ethnicity. It doesn't matter which flag I represent, what language I speak, or who I pray to. Peace sprayed bullets and segregated this country, but peace can spread love and unite this country. We, the people of this world, sleep in the evening. We are all dreamers in the end. From planting words in the city to a book bound together like a bouquet. Long live his story that cultivated history from a crack in the concrete, in hopes that my story won't be another unsolved mystery, but a story that will grow like a rose one day. Thank you.
Oh, so powerful, Christian.
Wow.
So powerful.
Wow. That was amazing. God, the imagery, it was so powerful. There were some, I couldn't write down all the lines that I loved about this, but so poetic, so powerful. Like one of them was the words I write doesn't have a disability and doesn't have a ethnicity, and yeah, just, and then the one about the bouquet. What was your line about a rose in the bouquet? Do you remember toward the end?
From planting words in the city to a book bound together like a bouquet.
So lovely, so poetic and beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Christian.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this for everyone to share. It's been great.
Yeah, I keep saying how in here in Breath of Fire, our RIO de Mi Vida class and the Boyle Heights, together we need to put together an anthology, because your work needs to be printed just like everyone else who's just shared right now. But really beautiful. I love that closing line of yours, Christian. and just the repetition of words. Very, very powerful message and messenger. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right.
All right, let's see who we have next. Is, I don't think I saw her. Is Angelina Valdez here? Let me look at gallery view. I don't think so. Okay, so next will be Suzanne Pinero.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you again for this wonderful space. My piece came out of the prompt, my body is. My body is missing. All right, okay. Exhaustion and peace can coexist. At least in my world, where contradiction and chaos harmonizes into melodies and concertos. Somewhere in the abyss of this Twilight Zone-like pandemic, my uterus became a battleground. Steel and hard ammunition and massive coils of barbed wire. Hemorrhaging sorrow, twisting and tangled, once, twice, thrice, and then I lost count. A mangled platoon of angry soldiers. Swords were introduced, and the pain grew louder. Nuclear artillery was launched, ripping through the delicate uterine walls and ripping through its prisoner. Screaming from within. I heard it, but couldn't listen. If I ignore them, perhaps I can pretend this is just a nightmare. And at the end, I will wake up. Yes, let's pretend the black-red hues are just part of a horrendous dream. But the sounds were a cacophony of agony. For all my imagination, I could never fabricate this apocalypse amongst my reproductive organs. I needed it to grow quiet again. I beckoned the landscape of serenity. The round shape who used to produce eggs or ovulate or whatever it's called in the medical field is now missing. There's no reward for finding it though. Whoever or whatever took it hostage can keep it. Scars on my stomach, a reminder of the war and capture. Yeah, my right fallopian tube got caught in the crossfire, and it's also nowhere to be found. I didn't really need either. Can I say goodbye to the ones on the left too? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we were unmuted. I'm glad we didn't. We're all like, ah. I love that last line. I was trying to write it out, and then you're like, thank you. So powerful and just visceral, and you can feel the pain and everything that you went through. Thank you so much. Very raw and honest. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for sharing that.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I remember you read this in class, and I was trying to remember. It seems like that you have developed it since then. Yes, yeah, that's what I thought. And wow, what a gorgeous job. I remember loving it so much then, especially because these are the types of things that there's still a freaking taboo about talking about women and our reproductive organs and what, you know, the functions of our bodies, you know, and the grief that we experience, you know, when they don't function as we want them to, or as we think they should, you know. So I really love that, the deepness of what you shared. Thank you so much. Really powerful and beautifully done.
Awesome. So up next is Jen, and then on our deck, we're gonna bring out Lorena Ortega from our Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council. And then after Lorena, we will have Jackie Guido, and then Adriana Alba.
All right.
All right, Jen, let me highlight you. Hold on. We do it all over here. We're tech, we're hosts. Jen.
I guess I could have done that too. Yeah, she's here. Hang on.
Oh, there you are. I'm looking right at you. Hold on. Okay, there you go.
There I am. I am sharing something from the prompt regarding my body. So here we go. Does carrying heavy burdens count as a workout? No, but my body feels sore. My broad shoulders feel tight, stubborn against stretches and forceful rubs. Pain radiates across my wide, soft hips when I sit or stand for too long. My body crackles and pops, sounds no longer alarming to my ears. My body is covered in freckles from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. There are lunares next to my lips and my eyes. They are sprinkled over my cheeks and my back. They sit on my fingers, victims of a babysitter's rigorous scrubbing because she believed the contrast on my skin was a cause of dirt. They form constellations on my long arms, and they vary in size. A common source of inspection when I remember their existence is not always a good thing. Another thing to add to my long lists of fears and worries. My body is covered in hair, always growing, a constant reminder that time is moving forward, even though I dwell in the past. My body is often a source of debate between my brain and my eyes. It is resilient despite my lack of loyalty to it throughout my life, despite me starving it, overfeeding it, letting it suffer through resolvable pain, carrying me through when I thought I didn't deserve to live. I am thankful for its strength. Thank you.
Beautiful, Jen. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love the crackle and pop. I love the sound and the ebb and the flow of your poem, your piece. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so poetic. I also just love the whole thing about the lunares, and like how you said, sprinkled on your body, constellations on your arms, and then the sadness of somebody trying to scrub that off, not seeing the beauty of your freckles, your lunares, which I have also, you know, thinking that it's dirt. So I just love the contrast of the poetry and the pain, and also the resilience really came shining through your piece. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that too, the hair that constantly grows. Yes.
Constantly.
All right. I said things and I didn't write them down. Lorena is next.
Yeah. Lorena.
And we need an assistant.
From Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council Workshop. Lorena Ortega, everybody.
Thank you. And this one is based on a prompt from class on February 1st. And what I want to write about was the prompt. The name of this piece is called They Don't Call Me Bruja by Mistake. I should have known better and remembered that our words have the power to manifest people from our past to come into our future. Because then it wouldn't have come as a surprise when I received the message from an anonymous email address that at first made no sense to me. The subject line said, "Hola, Lorena." And since it came through on my old Yahoo account, I figured it was spam mail, so I ignored it for the first hour. I've had an uneasy feeling in my heart since I mentioned Lucifer's name on Saturday. I didn't think anything of it because the story I told was truth with the capital T, and it was my story to share. But something about saying his name aloud again after so many years of not mentioning it made me uneasy. You know in the movie Aladdin, when the bottle is rubbed and the genie appears to grant 3 wishes? Well, somehow, the motion my lips made when saying his name must have conjured up his presence, or at least that's what I want to tell myself. I said some pretty bad things about him on Saturday. No, wait, I take that back. I shared things that were bad about him, but nothing was untrue. I had a gnawing feeling that the message from an unknown email address must have come from him, because much like a magician can conjure a rabbit out of his empty tall hat, my ass can call in evil just by mentioning his name. My curiosity got the best of me and I clicked on the email to open it. They don't call me Bruja by mistake. Something in my heart told me to wake up and write to you today. I have been doing some healing and I want to tell you that I forgive you for everything we put each other through, was the way he opened his letter. Click to close, Lorena. Click to close is what I told myself. What good can come from the EX for explanation I was about to read? None. Pero soy tan masoquista that I just couldn't resist strapping in for the ride. I read the email line by line, his words hitting differently now that I've had time and space to heal from the emotional violence. I had to stop reading when I reached phrases like, "You just didn't know better," and "I can see now where things went wrong." Because even after a global pandemic, even after losing family members and friends, and even after 16 years have passed, Lucifer couldn't bring himself to say, "I'm sorry," or to take accountability for the gaslighting he so easily performed during our brief but impactful marriage. No explanation for sequestering me in the Sierras de Osomatlan so I would never see my family again. And certainly no inquiry as to how I was doing or if I had found healing on my path to 2021. For those of you who know me, my next step will come as no surprise. As much as I love to burn what I write, I also burn that which no longer serves me. I printed up Lucifer's email. I then ripped it up into tiny pieces and placed it in my conch shell before walking outside to greet Grandmother Moon. I swore she winked at me, knowing full well what the already lit bundle of sage in my right hand was for. I planted my bare feet firmly in the ground and called upon each of my ancestors to take the words being lifted in smoke and move them as far away from my heart as they could. With tears running down my cheeks, I could feel my worries disappearing into the night as the sound of my daughter's laughter spilled out from her bedroom window, bringing me back to the present. I don't know the precise moment I understood I was a bruja. Perhaps it was the time my abuelita rubbed her hands together, placed them on my calf, and made my night cramps go away. Or perhaps it was the time my ama would walk into the backyard, pick a sprig of yerba buena, and mix it with secret hierbas to heal my broken heart. But I did know that in that precise moment, I was grateful for knowledge I have had that has led to self-healing wounds that I never asked for. Thank you.
Self-healing wounds that I never asked for. Oh, my friend, oh, fellow bruja, one day all of us are going to be out in the moon with you and burn any fuck you letters or writings that we need to. Yeah. Wow, Lorena, talk about an amazing storyteller. Thank you so much for your words are medicine, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you. I felt like I was around a campfire listening to a ghost story. The way you told it, I felt like a little kid, like I said, a little kid around the campfire, and just the strength and the power that you brought forth. Like I was just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I loved what you said about your abuela and your mama. Like you come from a long line of brujas, and I just loved the whole thing. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Let's see.
Up next is Jackie Guido, who joined us for Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council and Breath of Fire Latina Theater Ensemble. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think one of the prompts is from Breath of Fire and the other one from the Boyle Heights Council, but we'll see. The first one that I'm reading is They Don't Call Me Blank Anymore. They don't call me Sacagawea anymore. It is a name that my brother Tongo gave me after my Fabi was born. Mi pequeño Saltamontes was a very flexible baby. I could do it all, todito, just like before he entered this world from between my piernas. Mi flaquito no se raja. With some adjustments, of course, and as long as he was attached to La Chichi and later to my back, hanging on to me as I cleaned the house, cooked, did my schoolwork or rehearsal at the teatro. Anything I did or anywhere I went, my little monkey, my changuito veracruzano de la fruducha was sure to be present, popping his little cabecita Juliana from his hiding place near my bosom. They don't call me Sacagawea anymore because my brother is dead and my Fabi's 5'9", 115 pounds and 21 years of age. Thank you. And the other one is from another prompt. I'm calling it lista to embark. Aquí estoy frente a ti. Puta madre, qué hinchirrío tan enorme, tan temeroso, pero tan hermoso. Y tú, hombre pájaro, ¿qué chingados are you doing here next to me? Yes, you're right. I am afraid. But look at my feet. I'm wearing my water shoes. Y aunque descalza estuviera aún así, I will take the leap. Mírame a los ojos, ¿no, verdad? Más miedo me tienes tú a mí del que yo te tengo a ti. Qué bueno que a estas alturas de nuestra vida me conoces bien. Sabes de dónde vengo y sabes que ni tú ni nadie me detiene. Coño, me tiembla la pierna derecha. Es mi padre. Es mi lado masculino. Es el tomar acción. But you know what? Me hago rub a little aceitito de lavanda y se relaja. Escucho el susurro de la voz de papito. Hija, mira, ven, ven, corre, mira la tele. El indio Fernández es como tú. Sí, papito, yo soy como él. Se esconde el pulgar en el puño izquierdo. Mi madre, mi lado femenino. Me tomo mi tecito de tila, manzanilla y romero y me lanzo. De la misma manera que mi abuela Chencha, viuda a los 21 años, agarró camino al norte. ¿Tú crees que a ella no la seguía un hombre pájaro trepándose en los árboles, observándola muy de cerca en su paso? Como mi madre Nati, la niña del más allá, con la frente muy alta y sus arracadas de oro bien enganchadas, que con 9 años de vida y huérfana, agarró su camino sin voltear hacia atrás. Mírame bien a los ojos, hombre pájaro, porque aunque te tenga miedo, jamás bajaré la mirada. Mira mis manos abiertas, mira mis palmas expuestas, mira la magia dentro de mi maleta. En ella cargo mis tesoros, los he heredado de los míos, de los que antes que yo también recorrieron su propio río. Thank you.
So poetic, Jackie, and I love the way you read in Spanish and a little bit of Spanglish here and there. I love my favorite language. Yes, I remember, especially with the "They don't call me Sacagawea anymore," how that last line affects me every time, even though I've heard it.
Yeah.
It still like takes my breath away. About "They don't call me Sacagawea anymore because my brother is dead and he's the one who gave you the name." I love the book end of how you said he gave you the name in the beginning and that at the end, and of course your second piece. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, so rich with details, so rich with emotion and roots of your background. You know, I love how rich and colorful it was in sharing your masculine side and your feminine side, and then those discussions of your mom and your dad. Really beautiful work. Thank you so much for sharing those pieces. Oh, I love you.
Thank you, Jackie.
You want to
Next.
introduce Adriana?
Mm-hmm.
Adriana has a guest.
I have a guest.
Oh, all right. Oh,
This is she's my hype girl.
woo,
Me va a echar porras. ¿Me vas a echar porras? Sí. She's here to take part. So she's learning. She'll learn. I love that my daughters get to, because of Breath of Fire. I just want to say something beautiful is that my girls have a built-in madrina system that's gonna always make sure that they have magic and words in their life. So thank you so much, all of you. And really it is, I always say, it's like, you can't raise a child by yourself. Like, and one partner is not enough, so you need a whole group of folk to give them love. So thank you. So I'm gonna this first piece that I'm going to read is inspired by the prompt about the body. And it was very interesting to write about my body, because it made me self-conscious to myself, which is funny. So I haven't given it a title, so maybe y'all can help me. And it goes a little something like this. This case I live in, atoms in space, hardy flesh, fragile organs, sculptural skeleton, sanctuary and battleground. I nourish it with the same devotion I used to punish it. I love it and flaunt it to hide the parts that hurt and jiggle and mock. Lovely and life-giving, all the while delivering demise and decay. A ticking time bomb in the heart and rage in the lungs. It's what I got. It's all I get. This breathing, this throbbing, this sighing, arms stretching, legs running, hands holding belly bulging, and eyes burning, skin yearning, brain learning, big here, little there. Treat it with love, and don't forget to shake that ass with dare. That's the one. Okay.
So much. Oh, do you have another one?
I do have another one if it's okay with you. Okay, this one, it's a little rough, but I want to dedicate this to my student, Christian Lopez. So he's one of the examples of why I'm so proud to call myself a teacher. So they don't call me teacher anymore. And so I pray it to myself every morning. I breathe it in at the first stretch. I pour it into my coffee like a sweet cream, and I drink it hot to let it burn my tongue. I lather it into my hair, into the skin. I wash my hands with it again and again. I sing it in the car over bass lines and beats. I hum it softly in my dreams, and I cuss it into templates and data reports. I hold it in my hand, in my head, in my heart, in my belly, like a hidden diamond. That's it. It's for you, Christian Lopez.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love the sound of your work. I love the first poem and how you ended it with your and don't forget to shake that ass. And I love the start of it. Almost, you don't have to use it or whatever at all, but I like this case,
Yeah.
I like how you called it that, I know some people use the first line sometimes as the title, but just this case. And then just the connection, because this case can also be like a cassette case, and you bring it to your second piece and those references of music or, things. But already, like, I don't know if I'm just high on emotions from all of your work, but I just, tears of joy just in listening to your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all of you. I'm so honored, and I love sharing space with writers. It really reminds me, and it makes me hopeful, and I can't wait to do this in person. I really can't. It's so exciting. So it's nice to feel like I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna have all these homies ready to go. Thank you.
Yeah, and she's gonna have to fly out. I don't know if Peter, you're in New York still, or if you're in LA.
Suzanne too. Suzanne.
Oh, Suzanne.
You're in New York too, right?
Yep, NYC. So I have to go over.
Oh, wow.
When the world opens up.
I used to, before COVID, I used to go over twice a year to New York City. So if I'm there, I'm going to be contacting you to say hi.
Please do.
And I just wanted to add really quickly, Adriana, that your writing is always so sensual to me. It's like, I love your voice. It feels so real, and it really moves me. And it's so impactful, visceral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. And
my hype girl left me, you guys.
Well, yeah, but she
was bored after the second line.
She was bored after the second line. You know what? When you brought your daughter in, I thought you were going to share the one you wrote about your daughter. And I was just like, she's going to have me crying. I'm going to be emotionally crying hard. Oh. But I love those pieces too. But you need to print or send me a copy of the one you wrote for your daughter, because that one is really lovely as well. All of yours. I love all of your pieces.
Yeah. Well, we have a burning desire that jumped on.
Nice.
So Miriam Timberlake, you're up next. I can add her.
And then we'll bring a couple of folks from the Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council.
Yeah.
Guido Mendoza and then Imelda Padilla.
Hi everyone. Thank you for your sharing. Very inspirational. I wrote a couple things based on the prompts I remember and I don't remember, which is little like I adapted the second prompt. I don't want to forget.
Great.
Okay. But I wrote them in Spanish, so you're gonna have to pay attention. It's called cicatrices. Las cicatrices. ¿Alguna vez te has preguntado cuántas cicatrices tienes en tu cuerpo hasta el día de hoy? Yo no. Hasta el día de hoy, y comenzaré. De las primeras cicatrices que tengo memoria son las que me premiaron los fines de semana que pasaba con mi abuelita. Ella nos dejaba salir a jugar con los niños de la cuadra donde ella vivía y que en ese entonces no tenía pavimento. Corríamos sobre arena y piedrecitas que a veces traviesas nos hacían tropezar y tal vez no con esa intención nos dejaban sus pequeñas muestras de afecto o nos comunicaban que también eran parte del juego. Jugaban a las traes y corríamos hasta no poder más para que no nos tocaran y nos contagiaran con ese virus del córrele que te alcanzo. Yo tenía las piernas flacas y un poco chuecas, lo que siempre me resultaba en una caída, y acto seguido, dos amiguitas corriendo a levantarme para llevarme apoyada en sus hombros hasta la casa de mi abuelita, a la que le decían: «Señora Eva, señora Eva, salga por la mirusa que ya se cayó otra vez». Mi abuelita salía y me metía a la casa, y aunque parecía que quería estar seria, un dejo de sonrisa se podía ver en sus ojos. «Ay, chamaca, mira nada más cómo te pusiste esas rodillas. Vamos para ponerte el mertiolate». El mertiolate era un antibacterial que te pintaba la piel de un color rosado casi metálico, con tonalidades neón. Era como si después de haber corrido y reído con mis amiguitas, a pesar de la caída, me merecía un trofeo que me coronaba como la que más disfrutó de los juegos. Aún en estos días, puedo ver algunas cicatrices que me hacen sentir orgullosa de mis alegres logros de la infancia. That's the first one. Second one is called Nos miraremos alma a alma. This is I don't want to forget. Nos miraremos alma a alma. Existen cicatrices que no se pueden ver a simple vista, porque no se quedaron sobre la piel, sino sobre el corazón. Son esos rasguños que nos hicieron o que nos hicimos a nosotras mismas. Son esas cicatrices que dolieron tanto mientras querían desarrollar una nueva piel y que en muchas ocasiones vuelven a doler cuando las rozamos con nuestro recuerdo. Yo tuve una de esas. Tenía apenas 20 años cuando el amor y las ilusiones de lograr una carrera se me enfrentaron. El futuro se podía haber comprometido si no actuaba a tiempo, o al menos eso era lo que yo quise creer, o lo que yo pude entender a mi corta edad y más corta sabiduría. Me llegó un regalo que no supe valorar y lo rechacé por miedo a no saberlo usar y cuidar. Lo regresé a la fábrica de donde salió, pero lo regresé maltratado. Al hacerlo, me dejó una cicatriz que llevo hasta el día de hoy, porque no me permití ni siquiera abrirlo. y no supe cómo sería lo que venía dentro de ese paquete tan especial. Todavía me pregunto cómo habrían sido sus ojos y cómo sonaría su sonrisa cuando entre juegos me rozaría el corazón. Hoy solo le pido disculpas desde el alma a aquel que lo envió para mí, pero que tuvo que recibirlo de regreso. No es que no hubiera querido tu regalo, es que no supe qué hacer con tanto en la cabeza que me decía que era más importante seguir en la apariencia que luchar por él y disfrutarlo. Algún día me tocará regresar a mí también a esa fábrica y tengo la esperanza de volver a encontrarlo y verle cara a cara o alma a alma para no volver a separarnos jamás. That's it.
Oof, that's it. That's a lot.
Everything.
That's everything.
Oh, wow, Miriam. So powerful, so poetic. I love the theme of the cicatrices running through both pieces. And it was visually stunning and so touching and moving.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
You're a really great storyteller. Yeah. And I love your voice. I'm all like,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Gracias. Very, Adriana says very mystical. Yes.
Yes.
You could do voiceovers. You could read stories, and you should be on the list if somebody else wants somebody to read their piece. Miriam, if Miriam volunteers, grab her up. Thank you, Miriam.
Yeah, or we could put these on a podcast too.
Yeah.
People would love all these stories. And with your voices, oof. All right, up next is Guido Mendoza from our Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council. Y con shades.
Y con shades. Es que, you know, I'm prepared with the idea that maybe I'll cry, so me vine preparado.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you for the space. It's been really beautiful to hear what got developed in the other side and then the combination, and just to hear all these beautiful perspectives and stories. I'm honored. I know there's no prefacing, but there's slight. I was inspired by a documentary called La Cachada, which is this documentary on this all-women's theater group that I was watching, and Elvia and Angela had given us the homework, and they said to write a letter. And I kept on thinking about what my letter would be, but I wanted it to be an opportunity to heal some generational trauma. And as I watched these women from El Salvador put their traumatic experiences into plays, which is what the documentary is about, I thought about my mom, and then it hit me. And so in a way, an all-women's theater group inspired this, and now I'm reading it where I feel like it makes sense. So here we go. And yeah, that's it. Just thank you again, Evia and Angela. So, dear Mom, here I am inside your womb, ready and eager to meet you. You and I have bonded in ways we didn't even expect to do so. Your trauma, sadness, and hurt that you faced permeated intravenously to me, even if you didn't intend for it to be that way. It's probably why you and I will have a lifelong bond that is very heartfelt and connected emotionally. I was there for you as you cried about the uncertainty of being left to fend for yourself with a baby on the way. As I continue to develop within you, I heard your tears and wish I could wipe them off. I tried my best to make you feel better, but as I visibly grew, I was a reminder of how your life was going to change yet again. You left the motherland at a young age, leaving your 2-year-old son behind so you could bring him with you later, but you weren't able to do so. You yearned to have a child, and the universe, God, Satan, your inner will, or whatever divine cosmic agreement heard you loud and clear. After meeting my father, or better yet, we'll call him the inseminator, you ended up being pregnant. You were happy that you would have, Okay. You were happy that you would have a son again to take care of and someone by your side to receive the motherly love you uprooted by coming to the US. It wasn't until you met the inseminator's mom, my would-be grandmother, that you realized that your situation was not going to be as easy. He left you 6 months pregnant. Sorry. Because he listened to his mom. She did not want a Salvadoran woman who was a bit older to be with his Mexican son. Maybe it's why later on I'd be so confused about nationalisms, as I was never going to be Salvi enough, Mexican enough, or American enough. But back to you. Your hurt, disappointment, and anguish were being fed to me through your umbilical cord. I was nourished myself off of your feelings as well. Maybe that's why I'm an emotional eater. I was eating your feelings then, and now I eat mine. But again, back to you. As you contemplated what you were going to do to figure out what you were going to do, because how you were going to be a single mom in a foreign country, you thought about listening to your grandmother and returning to my grandmother and returning to El Salvador. You left that country to get a better life for your first child, to get away from another deadbeat dad, and here the cycle was repeating. The correlations brought up all the feelings you had then. You wondered if you were destined to always suffer, but you knew that if you went back, this kid would lose the opportunities afforded by being born here. You had to face doubts, fears, and the uncertainty, but you didn't do it alone. I was there, emanating love and light from within in however ways I could. When I kicked your belly, it was to remind you of how strong and resilient you really are, and that I was there with you. Our bond began in utero and only grew stronger in the final months of your pregnancy. By the time I came out of the womb, I was not crying from shock of going from liquid to air, but because I had bottled up emotions while in there. I needed a good cry myself so you could hold me. Embrace, we'd remind each other that everything was going to be fine, that whatever we were going to face together. That sacrifices, insults, and tiring hours to get by in this country was going to be for us and my brother back home. You knew that I could never replace your firstborn, but you also knew that I was going to be by your side regardless of what storms came our way. It was because of the generosity of the community you had built that helped you make sure that you were ready for my arrival. By the time I came out for the first time, you'd be ready for me, even if you didn't know what that really looked like or what the future would hold for us. Mother, I've always been with you and will always be with you, even when we drift apart later because of the pandemic and then some. Just know that our lifelong bond, since my blooming in your womb, would be one that will bring us lots of laughs, some tears, but many more good moments. It will keep us connected beyond any distance or realms. We are bonded by trauma, but really, we are bonded by our love for each other, which heals and soothes any pain we experience. We even have similar heart issues, but that's how much we are connected. That my veins emulate yours. But that's a different story for later, and trust, we'll bond even more then. I can't wait to meet you and see your face, and thank you for bringing me to such a strange yet beautiful life. Much love, your nameless son.
Much love, your nameless son. Ugh, so good. I love your work, Guido. I'm so grateful. I met Guido in real life last weekend. It was amazing because I met a lot of these writers only on here. Thank you so much for sharing that piece. I don't even have words to say it.
Well, your idea to write from the perspective of you in the womb is so brilliant. I remember you reading this in class and just being wowed by this concept, and it, you know, it just touches, like, yeah, a lot of times we all look forward to this day that the baby is born. There's so much happens before then, and now that we're learning about epigenetics and how trauma is passed on and all that kind of stuff, like you captured these themes in such a beautiful way, such a moving way, such a connected way. I love lines like, when I kicked your belly, I was reminding you of how strong you were, something like that. I apologize if I'm butchering your lines, but things like that, just, or maybe that's why I became an emotional eater. I was eating your feelings then. Oh my God. Because I'm an emotional eater. And yeah, it's so much. It's so beautiful. It was very dreamlike, which I imagine maybe that's what it feels like to be in the womb, but it was very dreamlike. And I loved it. It was very visual. Thank you for sharing, Guido.
Yeah. And I know I mentioned it. Adriana wrote this piece that her daughter inspired. And so when we put the anthology together, I would definitely put your guys' clothes together, because she talks about being what was it like before she came to be, before her daughter came to be. And so really beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you for sharing again. All right, so we just have a few more writers left. Up next is Imelda Pedia también. She's from our Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council session. And then I'm going to share a piece. And then I don't know if you want to share a piece.
I'm not sharing today. I'm just taking in all your work.
And then closing us out is Miss Melissa Gutierrez. And then we party. Or you say hi.
Okay, hi everyone. So I ended up calling mine Visitations, and I believe it was from the prompt to write about a place, like write about the places you've lived. This is more of a place that I visit, but it's technically to me and my family, you know, a place where we live, a part of us lives. So visitations. All right, so my experience with California state prison lobbies have varied. None fully operate the same. When it all started, our first facility groomed my family and I well. What to wear, what to have, and the older, soon to retire guards ran a smooth, cold, but efficient operation. The facility setup, the check-in system, the bathroom cleanliness contribute to your experience, but the most impactful component is the pinchy staff. On this given day, after a 2-hour drive, I'm here to visit my bro. I'm ready and prepared like the pro I've become over the years to smoothly pass registration. My goal always, get through without having to speak with the guards. So I'm dressed and as resourced up as allowed to be. The clothes are limited by colors, no layering, and of course, no metal. If you beep, you cannot cross the metal detector, board the bus, and much less, sorry, messed this up, and much less get on the drive over to the prison yard of your loved one. On this particular day, I'm at prison lobby number 3 of this decade-long journey. I see the common characters, the pro families, seasoned and immersed into the rules of this oppressive institution. They dress to code, they're racing over to get the limited picture tickets, and of course, the clear bags with a grip of quarters for the vending machines. Feast of unhealthy food options, here we come. Then of course, a batch of novices on their first visit. They're scared, confused, full of questions, full of faith, prayers and hopes that someone can help them through the barriers of communication who they so often run to when it comes to dealing with these fucking guards. You hope a motherfucking public servant is informative, but chinga su madre, dude. They can be so dismissive según el gusto de su pinche privilegio of that given morning. On this particular visit, I come alone. Sat and waited for my name to be called, calmadita y bien portadita, as I waited with the mamas, the grandpas, and kids. And of course, it's mostly gente of color. Also on this day, we have a loud rookie in the house, speaking loudly and looking irritated at the lobby desk. Young, a real güereja, a true Esmeralda. She had those blue-green eyes and the Peca Sun stamp that makes you assume she's probably from Jalisco. She had that look combined with the, I'm not young, I got this, and I'm in love with my bad boy. Just answer my questions. Look on her face. Her outfit was cute. I liked her Jordans, but I could tell she really, she had process questions. Were they answered? Hell no. They sent her ass back to sit down until her name was called. She took the dismissiveness well. She sat down and looked ready to shut the fuck up. What else can you do? Then I'm called up. I turn in my papelito and prepare for the metal detector. After all these years, I've mastered the ability to mind my own business and stick to the mechanical and coldness in my approach of how I deal with these public servants. Of again, the most atrocious institution our taxpayers that our tax dollars pay for. As I'm standing in the metal detector line, I realize it's getting longer and not moving. I look up and what do I see? This older chichona, whose first language was not English, wearing a form-fitting shirt, no skin shows, but her curves look pretty amazing in her long sleeve pink sweater, was struggling to cross the metal detector because her bra had a metal brooch. Most facilities at one beep say go borrow some clothes from the community partner outside. But at this facility, my outburst reflected what came next based on what I saw. Excuse me, I raised my voice towards the guards who looked like the supervisor. Instead of having your guards going goo goo gaga over this woman holding onto the back of her bra and showing off her bust to their satisfaction and giving the rest of us a show, how about you follow your own rules and ask them to step outside and borrow clothes so we can move our line? 4 failed attempts is a lot. The room went quiet. I know the guards behind the banister heard me, and only a few of the family members heard me entirely. But everyone heard when the supervisor guard responded with, if you have a complaint, you can email blah, 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 blah. Piece of shit. I asked for him to repeat it just to fuck with him. The room kept getting quieter. Even the kids started to settle. I can tell the guards felt stupid and annoyed that they were probably going to hear about it from their boss later. Fuck it, have that staff meeting. Simultaneously to this supervisor's annoying reply of where one can email complaints, I'm up to pass the metal detector. I could feel everyone looking at me. The families behind me, the CEOs in front of me. I step up and begin the check-in process, facing the first of the 2 guards who were the most enjoying of the Chichona show. We begin. Legal ID, check. Car key, check. Pockets, none. Shoes in the box, check. Bag, clear, full of quarters, check. I pass the metal detectors in my ugly black sweaters, my ugly sweater pants, a simple t-shirt, and my bra doesn't ring off the alarm. Smooth motherfucking cruise right on through. The silence, my mechanical approach, everyone was watching. The bilingual crowd was a little confused, was perplexed, confused and unsure about what the hell had just happened. What did this chaparra just invoke? They could tell it was something. Once I passed the metal detector, I look directly to the families and I see the güereja once again. To my surprise, she's laughing uncontrollably. She understood what happened. She knows I was professionally telling the guards, yeah, fuck you, follow your own rules. We, the women, the wives, sisters, mothers and daughters are not there for their motherfucking entertainment. They get paid by taxpayer dollars. I expect professionalism. Unlike the Chichona, the güereja, I can tell, grew up around more English. So she caught everything that just happened with my episode. Seconds before leaving the metal detector area and into the lobby for the bus, I made sure to look at guard number 2 straight in the eyes. He's the one who loved and was initiating the Chichona show. As he gave me back my ID, keys, and bag of goodies, he said nothing. He was embarrassed, and I know he felt the room. But now I was just letting him, allowing him to read my face, my eyes, that I know he saw the imagery in my eyes of calling him a motherfucking cerdo. And I was hoping that he'd see me put a knife in his neck, bleed him, and turn his ass into carnitas. As a community organizer, it's never my goal to fight with public servants. It's my job to find compromise and have productive conversations as we work to fix broken systems. But today was different. Seeing them laugh at this struggling woman, but low-key having a good time, seeing her double Ds flop all over the place, I'm sorry, pero se me salió lo bravo to the max. The mujer not taking bullshit to the max. As I walk into the second lobby before boarding the bus, my community organizer personality gets the best of me again. Because I look at the oreja and I realize, oh shit, I think I answered her questions about process. Good for me. On to see the bro. The end.
We were with the oreja cheering you on, man. That was awesome. I love this piece. I feel like you developed it a little bit and added some pieces about your community organizing, but fucking right on. I love your voice and I applaud you. Totally see this as a one-woman show like I've mentioned to you before. Yeah, I loved it. Thank you, Imelda.
Thank you. Thank you for getting me back to using my pen and my journals for writing, not just planning.
Yeah, you definitely, we encourage you to write. You're such a good writer, such a good storyteller. I can envision you on a stage, like we talked about before, one-woman show. I also can see a stand-up comedy routine, but I also appreciate the subject, what you're talking about, because it is like you said, I don't know exactly the words that you said, but like the most horrendous institution that our tax dollars pay for. And, you know, you broach the subject with humor and compassion and rage, righteous rage, you know. Yeah, I really appreciated the story, the way you told it. And I can't wait to hear more. Thanks, Imelda.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll see what's next.
Yeah. I love all these distinct voices, and I know not everybody's from Santa Ana and Boyle Heights. We have people from everywhere, but all your voices are so distinct.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share some pieces that aren't from the workshop that I wrote. On Monday nights, everyone's invited. It's from 7 to, just for an hour, 7 to 8 p.m. We have a check-in. And then we do a couple of writing prompts, and they're being led not by us, but by you all.
Yeah.
We've had a number of different writers lead these sessions, and this week's session was led by Guido Mendoza, who shared. And I'm going to share those two pieces that came out of that, because one of them is dedicated, since it's going around this dedication, is to a certain homegirl I went to school with. All right. Let's see. When I hear wars spill the wine, it takes me back to Chapman University, gathered in front of my dorm with my roommates and friends, blasting it, watching Adriana sway with her elbows up as she smokes an American Spirit in her gray corduroys and white tank top, and her hair almost to her feet. I am 1 or 2 years older than her, but I always felt she was ahead of my time. I was a young, naive chicanita with a big brown body who was still getting to know my ins and outs. It doesn't matter if I'm in the market, in the car, or at home when I hear hot flames of fire or any line in between. I let go of my present and let it take me deep into my memories of shots in between class, tears and terror of balancing school, chaotic home life, and holding each other when it was too much for one of us. We were a made-up sorority called the Fifis, La Patty, Adriana, and me, 3 Chicanas with so much life ahead of us. So that was the first one.
I'm not crying.
I actually wrote a play based on us.
I got to see it.
Yes. It's called Porfas, Please. And then this next one. I love these writing prompts that Guido found. So this next one is dedicated to, the feminine energy for Women's History Month. So the prompt was, how are you honoring, healing, harnessing your inner divine feminine energy? It took my husband owning his chubby 300+ pound body, walking around naked in my house when we were first married, for me to start to feel comfortable in my own half naked or fully naked body. It was in his caresses of following each curve of lonca or dimpled face cheek, even the curve of my fierce eyebrows that helped me find my softness. Now at 44, I wake up some mornings feeling my own curves as I slowly get ready, as I scrub my body down with creamy strawberry body wash, or as I slather and massage lotion all over my dry legs and calloused feet. I love her, this body with stretch marks and scars from all the millions and one falls she has had through the years, through cat scratches from her fur baby Momo, from mismatched brown, from sunless body parts. I love her, this 291-pound body, who goes up and down the scales, up and down and in and out of love at times. La quiero mucho, even when my self-love is low, even when my self-hate is high. I adore her, the inner goddess and the outer one, the same one. I love you, long named Divina. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, that was so gorgeous. I mean, both of them. I love both. The first one, knowing Adriana and having seen the play. I think that was the first play of yours that I ever saw.
Oh, really?
Was Porfa, Please. I just remember loving the title too. And then the one about your body. Oh, so beautiful. The truth of how you feeling, the up and down, the in and out, the self-love and the self-hate, it's nothing is linear and we never get to some plateau where like, here we are, it's always a journey, a practice. And you shared that so beautifully that I was able to connect with, my own journey that's up and down and in and out and love and hate and all that. And I love the sensuality of, your morning routine of caressing your body, the strawberry soap and the lotions on your dry legs. Yeah, it was very beautiful. Thank you for sharing, amiga.
Oh, thank you so much, y'all, and thank you for the comments. I'll read them in a second. But that was part of our Monday nights. We meet every Monday night. So I know not all of you are on our Facebook group. We'll share the link to that, the Zoom link, and we'll email out that reminder. And then you can also lead a class. Guido not only led us with those 2 writing prompts, but he also led us in a settling exercise for tapping, So he's soon going to be taking over our jobs. No, and then this upcoming Monday, it's going to be Jackie Guido who's in the house, who's going to be sharing her own. And then Lorena has done it. So please join us. It's at 7 p.m. on Mondays. We also 8 p.m. Sorry, 8 to 9. And then we have morning pages that's led by another fellow writer.
Yeah, Cecilia Caballero. She's not here right now, but she was part of our Breath of Fire sponsored workshop. And she just decided that she didn't want to do her morning pages alone. So she opens up Zoom every morning from 7 to 7:30. And whoever wants to drop in, it's no video, no mic. Just writing, but we do chat like good morning, how'd it go, things like that. So it's really wonderful to see how the community, this community of writers is just taking the reins, and if you want to lead a Monday night class of either settling exercise or writing prompts, please sign up. And if you want to do lead something on a different day, whatever you want to do, just,
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
All right, so up next is our closer, Miss Melissa. Thank you so much for co-hosting with us.
Thank you. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This doesn't have a title, but the first line is probably the title. But the prompt that it's from is "The river of my life is." The river of my life is flowing without me. I sit in church parking lots, spend hours in my car, write letters I'll never send, buy gifts I'll never give. I lie awake until tomorrow bleeds into today. I've seen it happen so often I think they're the same. I am sending love notes and well wishes. I am sending distress signals. I am sending pieces of myself down the river. The sentiment of me gathers at some unknowable destination. I am a collection of thoughts and ideas like stars, whose constellations only form under the loving eye of the astronomer. It's been so long since I've had clear skies. Machu Picchu was not built on potential alone. I am no longer a spark in my mother's eye. I am no longer a child, no longer Melissa. Her mouth was dry from words left unspoken, burning in her throat. My heart is a phoenix in her cycles, forever shedding the skin of myself, my ashes polluting myself, always starting over, returning to my murky source, beginning from the beginning again. I used to see my future so clearly. I saw Melissa like a vision, fantasized about her deep indigo waters. I sacrificed Melissa, returned to Melissa. I have never seen so clearly. I now drift with no destination in mind. Maybe I'm not so clairvoyant anymore. Maybe I've been drowning longer than I realize. My eyes so full of water, I no longer see. I will not cry for you. But I've been asked too often not to suspect that I'm a pretty crier. The water of my life bleeds from my eyes. I become my river, drifting in and out of time and of myself. Is that the point? Tell me, is that the point? To find yourself again and again, to pulse in and out of who you are, to begin? If I never begin, then I will never end. I can live in the fantasy of my great could have been, to make the choice, to make no choice at all, not so real to be solid, not so gone to be gas, to be water, to be changed, to be changed. If I am a being of water, I am no is, could be, no has been. I am no singular point, I am the length of my river. I sacrifice pieces of myself towards my unknowable end, and I am already there, in small pieces, in the sediment of myself. I will die 1,000 deaths and choose to live again. I will begin again, beginning endlessly, always ending. I begin. Thank you.
And that's why she was our closer. I love that. And I love that Melissa, before we gave this as a writing prompt, she had already written it. And I was just like, you beat me to the punch. But it was so beautiful. And I see you rushing through the water, floating through the water, like I can't even touch you. And it's just so empowering. I love this piece and I love your performance. I love that there's so many playwrights and theater folks. It's part of our group, and you definitely feel that in your roots. But thank you for that piece, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you for, making this space. I also was sort of in a writing rut before this workshop, and I've written so much, and I feel so much more empowered in my own writing and in my own artistry. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Not only what you wrote, but the way you presented it was so beautiful. It was like so practiced. It was a professional presentation. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I felt like, don't you dare try and come and stop my waters from flowing.
That was very powerful, very empowering too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We're gonna wrap it up, but I can't find my agenda, but I'm sure it says it's wrapping it up.
Yes, well, I would like to, not introduce, you've all met already. I'd like to call on Sarah. She has some announcements to make.
Yes, just some things. If again, like, continue to write. There, the fact that these groups are popping up and people are wanting to host spaces. I mean, just all these beautiful voices. I hope to hear more of your writing. This has been this has just been such a treat on a Saturday, and I feel so lucky to hear all these different voices and stories. It's like candy for my brain. I love it. I love it. With that said, I just wanted to share just a few things that are ongoing. Breath of Fire. Of course, we will be bringing back Angela and Elvia this July, and so we're excited to host another round of RIO de mi Vida. So, we have COVID monologues that are up on our YouTube. We have 24 COVID monologues that we have up on our YouTube channel, and I just put the link. We just completed our March 1st round. We will be having a third round, a submission, come later this spring. The date is to be determined, but just know that that is coming up. So, so just know that, like, if you're interested, it's again about honoring those who have died as a result of COVID, somebody you knew close to you, or somebody that you've read about or you know about, and you'd like to honor their memory. It's a living altar, the pieces. And then I'll be quick. And then, so the third round to be determined. And then, of course, we have a project that's a production that's up. It's Essentials, written by our literary director, Diana Burbano. It's a Breath of Fire production and presented by Center Theater Group, part of their community stories. And I had the pleasure of directing it. It's about essential workers, Santa Ana youth, essential workers. And it's a funny, sweet little piece, kind of a love letter to our community's youth. We do a lot of writing workshops with our Santa Ana youth, and because of the pandemic, we haven't really been able to do that. We would normally have a New Place Festival around this time with them. So that, if you want to check that out, and then save the date. These are just some things coming up. They're not posted on our website, but just save the date. We have 2 workshops coming up in April, dream writing workshops. And then May 16th, a reading of Monica Palacios' I Kissed Chavela Vargas. And then, of course, our ensemble member, Yolanda Mendevides, will having a reading of her Viva Kennedy clubs on May 23rd. More details to come, but these are just save the dates. And then, of course, if you're interested in catching the reading of a stage reading of an elevated reading of Atacama by Agosta Amador, I directed that as well. It's with some wonderful actors, Jose Fibas and Socorro Santiago. Beautiful play, 2-hander. It'll be up till tomorrow, and it's free. And I just put the YouTube link, so you go directly to the YouTube link. Anyway, that is all I have to say. Thank you for the time to just share those announcements. You're muted, Angela.
Go ahead. These technical difficulties. It's just part of this Zoom world, I guess. Thank you for sharing all that. I've had the pleasure of being able to watch, like, Essentials. I recommend it times 10. Please go watch Essentials. It is so good. And the Zoom production, Sarah, I am so impressed with it. I've been telling everybody, you need to, if somebody's doing a Zoom play, it's like, you need to watch Essentials. It's so masterfully done. And I really sometimes would forget and think that they were in the same room. So well done, brava. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to these others. Atacama, I got to see the first reading that Breath of Fire hosted, and I'm glad it's up till tomorrow, so I can get to watch it tomorrow. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and then just in our news, we're also part of a festival. Well, we're no longer part of the festival, but part of our theater collective, Chicanas, Chelas, and Chisme. 3 of our writers have pieces up. Part of the Teatro Frida Kahlo 10-minute festival. We have a watch party tonight. It's free. I'm gonna post the link so you can join. We're gonna be highlighting and showing 3 of the pieces, and then doing a talk back led by me. It's a lot of fun. Join us.
And Lorena Ortega is the actor in one of them, and you do not want to miss her performance. I'm telling you.
She says she's not an actor, but writers, directors, actors, you need to check this performance out. It's amazing.
Yes.
She's being sought after now.
Everybody's writing plays for Lorena to act in.
Yes, another muse for us. And then we're coming back in July, Casa Artistas, Rio de Mi Vida. But Angela and I discussed, and we're gonna come back on our own in May. So keep a lookout for that. It's gonna be on Mondays at 7 p.m. I know some of you guys are East Coast, so we're gonna send a survey to the Breath of Fire folks to see another time, like what other times are good. But Monday nights seem to be working. So we're really excited. We love leading these works because, like Sarah said, every time I'm in one of these classes, it feels like I'm opening a new book, and we get the privilege of reading these new pieces, hearing these new pieces. Please keep writing. These are so powerful and amazing, and we can't be prouder. But remember, we're a community. We're a circle. We still exist. This isn't goodbye, even though it feels like it a little bit. We meet Monday nights. But you can always reach out through our Facebook group or through email. You have a connection with us. With that being said, Angela.
Let's come back to the present, y'all. We went all over the place with these stories. So bring yourself back to your space, back to your body. Feel your body in your chair, your feet on the ground. Maybe touch yourself. You can have your hands on your knees, or you can do a self-hold. I love holding my face. It feels so comforting to me. And just start to relax your body, relax your breathing, and just start to observe without judgment, observe with compassion what you might be thinking, what you might be feeling, whether they're physical feelings, emotions. Just notice. And if you want to send breath to any area where you might be feeling tightness or pain, and just see if that breath can bring some space. And let's take 3 breaths together. Let's connect through breath, since we can't be in the same room yet. Ready? You can breathe through your mouth, your nose. You can make sounds. Woo. Oh, yeah. All right.
Before we say goodbye, let's take a group picture. Hold on. I'm like, let me put my hair down.
Do a little primping, whatever primping is necessary.
Guido, come back on. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna take one with my phone, but if my my photographers, Jackie and Lorena, can hook me up.
Is Guido coming? There.
And Kristen, if you want to join us for the picture, if you're free.
I'm baking, so sorry.
I know what you're baking, I think.
Yep.
My mom loved it. Okay, ready? Jackie, you let me know when.
3, 2, 1. Listo. Otra, una más. Okay, hold on.
No, we have pages of people.
Let me get closer to the camera.
Okay, I think I have everyone that is on camera, with their camera on. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Listo.
Yay, y'all did it. We did it.
Your first showcase. Thank you so much for the comments. Everybody has said such awesome things. We read all of them. Thank you so much. Any other closing thoughts, Elvia?
Yeah, I know Maria G is in the building. Follow her. She's another wonderful writer. She's part of our Boyle Heights Neighborhood Council. wonderful theater artist. So we'll have to do, actually, we're also thinking of not just in May, but maybe doing this more often, maybe an evening showcase mixing in the two groups, you know, kind of like an open mic night. And it doesn't have to be pieces from our workshops. It could be anything new. So keep a lookout for that. If you guys are interested or if you'd like to help lead that, let us know. All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorena, for the smoke.
Yes, thank you, Lorena.
Guido, if any crumbs fall, let us know. I know where you live now. I'll go pick up your clothes.
I'll let you know for sure. Thank you again.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Peter. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.